Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, published in 1953, is a seminal work of dystopian fiction exploring censorship and the erosion of critical thought. Set in a future American city where books are banned, the story follows Guy Montag, a fireman whose job is to burn illegal literature. His life changes after meeting the free-spirited Clarisse. Guided by the intellectual Faber, Montag rebels against a shallow, media-obsessed society. Written in a lyrical, poetic style, the novel warns against the loss of individuality and the dangers of a culture dominated by mindless entertainment. Montag lives in a society dominated by mass media, entertainment, and shallow distractions. The government has banned books to suppress dissent and intellectual discourse. Montag initially takes pride in his work, believing that burning books preserves social order. He is married to Mildred, a woman obsessed with television and detached from reality. Their relationship is empty, reflecting the superficiality of their society. One night, Montag meets Clarisse McClellan, a free-spirited 17-year-old who challenges his worldview. Unlike others in society, Clarisse is curious, thoughtful, and enjoys deep conversations. She asks Montag whether he is delighted, a question that unsettles him. Through their brief encounters, Clarisse prompts Montag to doubt his job and the society he lives in. Shortly after, Clarisse mysteriously disappears, and Montag later learns that she has died, likely in a government-orchestrated accident. Montag's growing disillusionment intensifies when he witnesses an old woman choosing to burn herself alive with her books rather than live without them. Disturbed by her devotion to literature, Montag secretly steals a book from the scene. This act of rebellion marks the beginning of his transformation. As Montag questions the purpose of book burning, he turns to his wife for understanding. However, Mildred is indifferent and absorbed in her immersive TV programs, which she calls her family. She views books as dangerous and reports Montag's strange behavior. Meanwhile, Montag seeks guidance from Faber, a former English professor who laments the loss of literature and critical thinking in society. Faber helps Montag understand the value of books and devises a plan to resist the system. Montag's superior, Captain Beatty, is aware of his growing doubts and delivers a monologue on the history of book burning. He argues that books create conflict, controversy, and unhappiness, and that society prefers comfort and entertainment over knowledge. Though highly intelligent and well-read, Beatty upholds the book-burning regime, believing it prevents chaos. He warns Montag against keeping books but subtly pushes him toward an inevitable confrontation. Despite the warnings, Montag continues his rebellion. With Faber's help, he begins memorizing passages from books and plans to undermine the fireman's mission by planting books in their homes. However, Mildred betrays him by alerting the authorities. The firemen arrive at Montag's house, and Beatty forces him to burn his own collection. When Beatty taunts him, Montag turns the flamethrower on his captain, killing him. Now a fugitive, Montag is pursued by the mechanical hound, an advanced robotic tracker. Montag flees the city for the countryside, where he finds a group of intellectual exiles led by a man named Granger. These outcasts, former professors and scholars, preserve books by memorizing them, keeping their knowledge alive for future generations. They believe that when society collapses, their knowledge will help rebuild a better world. As Montag assimilates into the group, a nuclear explosion destroys the city. The destruction symbolizes the inevitable collapse of a society built on ignorance and suppression. In the aftermath, Montag and the exiles begin their journey back toward the ruins, hoping to pass on their knowledge and rebuild a wiser civilization. Fahrenheit 451 is a powerful critique of censorship and the dangers of an anti-intellectual society. Through Montag's journey, Bradbury warns of the consequences of suppressing free thought and of blindly consuming media without questioning its impact. The novel highlights how a society that prioritizes comfort and superficial entertainment over critical thinking becomes vulnerable to authoritarian control. Although often read as a warning against government censorship, Bradbury's true motivation was a concern that technology and mass culture would naturally lead to the death of reading. The novel's artistic strength lies in its vivid imagery. Fire is depicted as both destructive and cleansing, while the mechanical hound serves as a chilling symbol of technological perversion. The book remains relevant today, addressing issues such as the overwhelming influence of technology, the decline of reading culture, and the importance of preserving knowledge. Bradbury's message is clear: books are not merely pages of words. They contain ideas that challenge, inspire, and provoke thought. Fahrenheit 451 reminds us that intellectual freedom and the pursuit of knowledge are fundamental to a thriving society. Montag's transformation from an enforcer of oppression to a seeker of truth reflects the enduring human spirit's resistance to ignorance and control.